Hi, this is Curt and welcome to another edition of Fire Law Roundup.
This is really interesting. And I think, frankly, it could be a whole course, but we're going to start in Florida where we have a line of duty death that was filed. Let me give the basic facts. So there's a Florida firefighter who died when a trailer that was filled with sand, and this was a trailer owned by the fire department or the city, and it flipped, pinned the firefighter, causing significant injuries. There were numerous surgeries. Ultimately, days later, the firefighter tragically died. This was not on a call. This was moving sand from one place to another. And the trailer's used for, I guess, hazmat incidents. But now, let me be clear to everybody. This is a lawsuit. It's just filed, not a court decision. These are allegations I'm about to repeat. So the allegations, which I find extremely interesting from a legal point of view, are that the trailer was defectively and dangerously constructed, that it was dangerously designed, it was dangerously maintained, and more important, that the city failed to provide proper training on how to use it when this individual who died and another person were ordered, according to the lawsuit, to utilize it. So
Brad, I want to point out, I don't know if you saw the video, but the trailer itself, look, I don't know if, did you watch the video?
I did not.
There was actually a couple of videos that I watched, but bottom line, excuse me, the trailer had two wheels. And you think about a trailer like this, it's going to carry 4,500 pounds.
It's going to be a four-wheel or a six-wheel, yeah.
Well, I know mine is, I have a 9,000-pound trailer that I use to move my tractors, but it's got four wheels, and it makes it a little bit more stable, a lot more stable. And then there's jacks and different things to stabilize it when you're moving stuff on it. But it did look to me like it was a two-wheel trailer that, has if it's not connected to something or it's not braced, has the potential to tip one way or the other. So the reason I say that is when I first read the article, I'm saying a trailer tipped over. I'm thinking it went over on its side, but I think this went front to back.
Yeah. And, and if people haven't used trailers, for example, I learned that hard lesson where I have a motorcycle trailer and I've always brought my motorcycles in with it connected. Well, one day I didn't have it connected. I bring the motorcycles in, and what happens to the trailer? The whole thing tips up, and you're right.
Was it a two-wheel trailer?
Two-wheel trailer.
Yeah.
It's not normally meant for loading, but if it is, it's got to be connected to something or held down, which is a bad way to do it, with like a cement block or something on the front, which is what landscapers do, but it's not a good idea. So here's why this case is so interesting. And I don't know Florida's laws, right? But let me predict the case. In most states, or many states, obviously, as we all know, you can't sue your employer for injuries on the job. And because you're an employee. So when you get injured, you get workers' comp. That's what you get. Now, maybe also this, there's in New York, we call it a 207A, but it's the difference between the full amount if you were killed in the line of duty or something, or your full amount of your salary and benefits minus the workers' comp section. So usually it's like, comp might pay 2/3 of your salary, but this is the third that's filled in by special laws for firefighters, police officers, et cetera. I assume Florida has something like that. On the other hand, it doesn't include pain and suffering. And it doesn't include what's called loss of consortium, which is where, okay, you're married and now your wife has additional expenses because you're not here, right? So just getting comp never helps anybody because it's just comp plus that additional missing third to give you your full wages, maybe, right? And for your anticipated life of service, et cetera. But then there's more. And this individual lived for, a number of days, probably in great pain, consciously suffering. And if this was a normal motor vehicle accident where somebody was hurt like this, who wasn't an employee, they would get a lot of money. So the question here is going to be whether Florida allows a lawsuit against its employer for not something that was part of the anticipated dangers of firefighting, right? But was instead for just daily routine maintenance, et cetera.
Well, they alleged gross negligence, and I think that was why I didn't see a count there for straight negligence.
Yeah, and they're probably trying to get around. There must be something in Florida that if it's gross negligence, right, on the basis. And look, this really could be if they gave no training to use a trailer, which people who use trailers know are dangerous and can be dangerous on properly stabilizing, loading, securing, etc. This is a good suit. It's not that this isn't a good suit. The issue is going to be what are Florida's laws that prevent this type of suit, whether it's a comp law. And look, I'm hoping, I assume not, but in some states, the employers fight you saying, we're not going to give you the difference between comp and your full salary because this wasn't a heightened danger of firefighting. That those usually don't fly, but that's the defense the employer would offer. I'm assuming the employer wouldn't put that forth here, but I didn't see anything about that here where they say they denied it, but that would be in a different court too. It wouldn't be part of this. But this is really interesting. And, again, it's a little bit different than most firefighter cases because it's not line of duty injury as we would think about it, right? It's performing their duties, but not while firefighting. So who knows? I suspect you'll see a settlement.
Yeah, I think so too. That one of the things I was speaking to a group last week, and when we were talking about the fact, like one of the challenges sometimes is a department, when they may have done something wrong, do they investigate it? Should they investigate it? Like something, hear me out on this.
Yeah, I know where you're going.
Okay.
I know where you're going.
Because the reality is in a classroom, when you give a scenario in a classroom to a bunch of chiefs or a bunch of officers and say, should we investigate this? Oh, yeah, we should investigate this. And I said, in real life, there's a lot of pressure on you not to. And in this case, at least the video that I saw, it sounded like that clip, and I believe the video is in there. Yeah, one of the interviews of the chief, or they're actually a video of the chief saying that they're going to stop the investigation, that the lawyers had recommended that they stop the investigation. And I'm like, it's exactly what I was speaking to this other group about, that we're under such pressure sometimes. And again, in a classroom, it's not real. You're dealing with a tabletop, just a theoretical problem. In real life, there's a lot of pressure on you not to investigate, or at least to do some sort of a superficial kind of investigation that's going to make you look good, certainly isn't going to make you look bad.
Right.
And that can conflict sometimes with what the victims in a scenario like this are looking for. The parents are looking for some sort of an acknowledgement by the department that we realize we got a problem and we're going to fix it.
Right. And look, if you have a true health and safety officer, I've mentioned this in past times, but if you have a true health and safety officer, the health and safety officer is going to make sure we investigate every near miss, every close call, et cetera. If there is a history of this, on the one hand, you could argue, well, your investigations are going to hurt you because you knew you had a dangerous, right? On the other hand, we investigated and we put proper procedures into place. You're not going to see that in this lawsuit, so we don't know. But our advice, I don't want anyone to take, at least what I would say is always investigate. If it's disclosable, it's disclosable. Yeah, okay.
But that's the opposite of what they teach us in law school.
Yeah. Right. And then there's a question of, are the investigations public record? Are they disclosable? And who cares? Investigate. If you did something wrong, you did something wrong. This isn't about covering it up. This is about doing the right thing. And, sometimes things go wrong, but investigate and correct.
Right. My son's a doctor. He's actually a surgeon. And he was taught, even before he became a surgeon, when he was just in medical school and then as a resident, that when you make a mistake, you own it. Right. You own it because, and you tell the patient, or if the patient didn't survive, you tell the family that this is what happened. And, we thought this, but we did this, or we nicked his liver, or we nicked the spleen, or whatever it might've been. You acknowledge it. And they've got research that shows that when you do that, number one, you're less likely to be sued.
Right.
And number two, when you are sued, your payout, the payout that you're going to have to pay out is typically less. So this is not what they're teaching lawyers, though. The lawyers they teach you to set your hair on fire and run around. Like, don't admit to anything. So I think that we've got a conflict here, but I think the department in this situation needs to investigate it, figure it out, and make the adjustments accordingly, and that will actually reduce your liability. Believe it or not, it's counterintuitive, despite what your lawyers may tell you.
Yeah, and definitely never take advice from your insurance lawyers on how to do this, right? The insurance company lawyers, because they're even
They
worse.
have sort of a short-term outlook on things.
Yeah, no, but you're 100% right. And look, in the professions, physician profession, and certainly the lawyer profession, we are mandated to self-report. And when if we commit professional malpractice, which would be our negligence, we have to self-report it. In fact, in New York State, under many of the model rules, you have to report someone else. And if you fail to report someone else, they get to report you for not reporting them. So we are so heavily, but that's how it should be.
Oh my God.
In the fire world and all world, right? And that's why I like dash cams. That's why I like videos where there's no question what happened. Right.
Instant replay. It's the real world equivalent of instant replay. And we know how important that is to pro sports. So
yeah, true. Now let's go from video to photo.